The smell of my mother's pot roast filled the dining room, but all I could taste was bitterness. Sunday family dinners had become an exercise in endurance since my brother Michael landed his prestigious position at Anderson and Mitchell Consulting 6 months ago. Another stellar week, Michael announced, adjusting his expensive tie. The partners are really noticing my potential. Big promotion meeting tomorrow. I pushed my peas around my plate, trying to ignore the familiar dance of praise that was about to begin. Right on cue, my father beamed with pride. That's my boy. Following in my footsteps, making something of himself in the real business world. The real business world. As if what I did wasn't real business. As if building a global cybersecurity empire from my laptop was somehow less legitimate than pushing papers in a corporate office. And what about you, Sarah? My mother's voice carried that familiar note of concern. Still doing that online thing? I thought about my company, Quantum Shield Technologies, and the multinational corporations that depended on our security systems. The government contracts, the Fortune 500 clients, the cutting-edge technology we were developing. All hidden behind careful anonymity, all protected by layers of corporate privacy. His mom. Still doing the online thing. Michael snorted into his wine glass. She just plays on her laptop all day, Mom. Probably blogging or whatever. If he only knew that his precious Anderson and Mitchell Consulting was one of my clients. That their entire cybersecurity infrastructure ran on Quantum Shield systems. That tomorrow's promotion meeting would take place in a boardroom protected by my technology. I manage okay, I said quietly, taking a sip of water. Managing okay isn't the same as building a career, my father lectured. Look at Michael's suits, office respect. That's what success looks like. I glanced down at my simple black sweater and jeans. No power suits in my world. No corner office. Just the top floor of a secure building in downtown Seattle, where I directed global operations under a carefully guarded identity. Sarah needs structure, Michael continued, helping himself to more potatoes. Real deadlines, real responsibilities. Not just sitting around in pajamas with a laptop. My phone buzzed quietly, a message from my chief of operations. Defense Department meeting confirmed for Tuesday. Joint Chiefs want to discuss the new quantum encryption protocol. I keep busy, I murmured. Busy doing what exactly? Michael pressed. Every time we ask, you're so vague. Online work. Tech stuff. At least I can tell people I'm a senior consultant at a respected firm. I thought about the non-disclosure agreements that kept me silent. The classified projects. The fact that even my executive team didn't know my real age. Just that Director Sullivan had revolutionized cybersecurity over the past 5 years. It's complicated to explain, I said. My father sighed heavily. Everything's complicated with you, Sarah. Always has been. Ever since you dropped out of business school. I didn't drop out, I corrected. I finished my degree online while building my company. An online degree, Michael scoffed. Not exactly Harvard Business School, is it? Oh, it wasn't Harvard. It was a carefully constructed cover that let me build Quantum Shield while everyone thought I was just taking classes. The company that now employed over 500 people, none of whom knew that their mysterious CEO was a 28-year-old woman in Seattle. Not everyone needs an Ivy League degree to succeed, I said. Succeed? Michael laughed. Is that what you call it? Living in that tiny apartment, no car, no office, no real job. The tiny apartment was actually the entire top floor of the building, disguised as multiple units for security. The no car was because I preferred my private driver. The no office was because my real office occupied the secure floors below my living space. I'm comfortable, I said simply. Comfortable isn't ambitious, my father chimed in. When I was your age, I was already climbing the corporate ladder. Now Michael's following that path. But you... He shook his head. You're hiding behind a computer screen. If they only knew about the meetings I took with tech giants and government officials. The security protocols I'd developed that protected everything from banking systems to military networks. The fact that I'd turned down multiple billion-dollar buyout offers because I believed in keeping Quantum Shield independent. Everyone's path is different, I tried. Different is one word for it, Michael smirked. Unsuccessful is another. I mean, look at tomorrow. I'm up for senior management, complete with corner office and stock options. What's your big achievement this week? Writing a blog post. My phone buzzed again. Acquisition of Anderson and Mitchell's cybersecurity division confirmed. Papers ready for tomorrow's board meeting. Actually, I said carefully, I have an important meeting tomorrow too. Oh. My mother perked up. A job interview? Something like that. Michael reached for the wine bottle. Finally seeing sense, are you? Ready to join the Real working world? I'm pretty happy in my world, I said. Your world. He laughed. Sarah, your world is a fantasy. Playing entrepreneur on your laptop isn't a career. It's avoiding reality. Reality. If he only knew that his firm's upcoming restructuring was actually a carefully orchestrated acquisition by one of my shell companies. That tomorrow's promotion meeting would have an unexpected participant. Maybe, I said standing up. I should get going. Early morning tomorrow. Oh right, Michael called after me. Got to check those blog comments. I gathered my things, listening to my family's laughter follow me to the door. Let them laugh. Let them think I was avoiding reality. Tomorrow reality would hit them harder than they could imagine. Sarah, my father's voice stopped me at the door. It's not too late, you know. Michael could put in a word for you at Anderson and Mitchell. Maybe something entry-level. I turned back, taking in their concerned faces. My mother's worry. My father's disappointment. Michael's smug superiority. Thanks, I said softly. But I think I'll stick with my laptop. The drive home was quiet, my driver knowing better than to interrupt my thoughts after family dinners. The Seattle skyline glittered against the night sky, my building's secure upper floors dark to maintain the illusion of residential space. In my real office, I reviewed tomorrow's acquisition documents one last time. Anderson and Mitchell's board had no idea that their cybersecurity division, their fastest-growing unit, was about to be absorbed by Quantum Shield. They thought they were just meeting to discuss Michael's promotion. My phone lit up with a message from the board chairman. Everything's set for tomorrow, Director Sullivan. Though I still wish you'd attend these meetings in person. I smiled, thinking of Michael's face when he realized who really controlled his company's future. Who really defined success in the modern business world. Trust me, I typed back. Tomorrow's meeting will be memorable enough. I walked to the window looking out over the city I protected. Somewhere out there, my family was probably still sitting around the dinner table mocking my life choices. Making jokes about my laptop and my online work. Let them laugh. Sometimes success doesn't need corner offices or power suits. Sometimes it grows quietly, hidden behind screens and servers, building something far bigger than anyone suspects. Sometimes it waits for exactly the right moment to step out of the shadows and show its true face. The Anderson and Mitchell headquarters gleamed in the morning sun, all glass and steel and corporate pride. I watched from my private elevator as it carried me to the secure floors, the ones my company had designed, the ones that required Quantum Shield clearance to access. My chief of operations, James Chin, waited for me in the private boardroom. Everything's ready, Director Sullivan. The board is assembling downstairs. I nodded, reviewing the morning's schedule on my secure tablet. In exactly 47 minutes, Anderson and Mitchell's board would announce their cybersecurity division's strategic restructuring. 5 minutes after that, they would introduce their new director of operations, the mysterious executive who had orchestrated the acquisition. My brother Michael had no idea that his promotion meeting was actually part of a complete corporate reorganization. The younger Mr. Sullivan has arrived, James reported, checking his phone. Looking quite confident. I smiled, remembering Michael's smug expression at dinner. Let's see how long that lasts. The boardroom's security monitors showed the scene unfolding below. Michael sat near the head of the table, straightening his tie repeatedly, a nervous habit from childhood. The board members filed in, followed by my father, who had been invited as a special guest for his son's big moment. Shall we? James asked, holding the door. I checked my appearance one last time. No more casual sweaters and jeans. Today I wore a tailored black suit that cost more than Michael's monthly salary. My laptop, the one they'd mocked so often, was actually a custom-designed quantum computer worth millions. Now, I said softly. The board meeting began exactly as planned. The chairman made his usual announcements, then turned to the day's main agenda. As you know, we've gathered to discuss some significant changes to our organization. But first, I believe we have a promotion to announce. Michael sat up straighter, smile widening. My father beamed from his visitor's chair. However, the chairman continued, before we proceed, I'd like to introduce someone very important. The executive who has been instrumental in shaping Anderson and Mitchell's future direction. The boardroom doors opened. I walked in, my heels clicking against the polished floor. James followed 2 steps behind, carrying the acquisition documents. Michael's smile froze. My father's face went from proud to confused in an instant. Sarah, he stammered. What are you doing here? The chairman looked between us, surprised. You know Director Sullivan? Director. Michael's voice cracked. Director Sullivan. I took my place at the head of the table, enjoying the way their eyes followed my movement. Hello, Michael. That interesting morning for a promotion, isn't it? I don't understand, my father said. You work online with your laptop. Actually, the chairman interrupted, Director Sullivan is the founder and CEO of Quantum Shield Technologies, the company that's been providing our cybersecurity infrastructure for the past 5 years. Michael's face had gone from confused to pale. Quantum Shield. But that's their worth. $12 billion at last valuation, James supplied helpfully. Though with today's acquisition that number will likely increase. Acquisition. My father's voice was barely a whisper. I opened my laptop, the one they'd dismissed so often, and the room's screens came to life with Quantum Shield's corporate overview. Our global reach. Our client list. Our technological innovations. Anderson and Mitchell's cybersecurity division has become crucial to your operations, I explained calmly. Too crucial to remain independent. The board agreed that an acquisition by Quantum Shield would be in everyone's best interests. But my promotion, Michael protested weakly. Ah yes. I smiled. About that. We are indeed restructuring the division. You're being promoted to senior manager, reporting directly to me. The silence in the room was deafening. Board members watched with barely concealed fascination as family drama collided with corporate strategy. You'll be working from our Seattle headquarters, I continued. The corner office you wanted. It's 3 floors below mine. Below yours. My father found his voice. You have an office? I have several, actually. In Seattle, London, Singapore, Dubai. I pulled up images of Quantum Shield's global headquarters. Though I prefer working from my laptop. Gives me more flexibility. Michael slumped in his chair, his carefully pressed suit suddenly looking cheap compared to the quiet power of my attire. All those times, he said slowly. When we mocked your online work. I was building this, I gestured to the screens. While you were chasing corporate titles, I was revolutionizing cybersecurity. While you were bragging about corner offices, I was protecting governments and Fortune 500 companies. Why didn't you tell us? My father asked. Would you have believed me? I met his eyes steadily. When I tried to explain my business plan, you told me to get a real job. When I worked late nights coding, you said I was avoiding reality. When I succeeded, you couldn't see it because it didn't match your definition of success. The chairman cleared his throat. Perhaps we should proceed with the formal announcements? I nodded, but my father stood up suddenly. Wait. All this time, you weren't just playing on a computer. You were. I was changing the world, I finished quietly. Just not in a way you could recognize. James distributed the acquisition documents. Michael stared at them, seeing his new title, his new role, and most importantly, his new position in the corporate hierarchy. You're my boss, he whispered. Actually, I'm your boss's boss's boss, I corrected. But yes, technically you work for me now. The rest of the meeting passed in a blur of signatures and formal announcements. Michael sat silently, his promotion forgotten in the wake of larger revelations. My father kept staring at me like he was seeing a stranger. As the board members filed out, my father approached me. Sarah, we had no idea. That was the point, Dad. I closed my laptop. Success doesn't always look the way you expect it to. Sometimes it wears jeans and works from home. Sometimes it builds empires from behind screens instead of boardroom tables. Those government contracts you mentioned, Michael said suddenly, the classified projects, are exactly why I couldn't explain my work at family dinners. I stood up, gathering my things. Hard to discuss quantum encryption protocols over pot roast. Your apartment, my father remembered. The whole building is Quantum Shield's headquarters. My tiny apartment is actually the entire top floor. Those nights you thought I was hiding in my room with a laptop? I was directing global operations, developing new security systems, protecting critical infrastructure. And tomorrow's dinner? Michael asked quietly. Will you come? I paused at the door, thinking of all the Sunday dinners spent swallowing their judgment. I have a video conference with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. But next week. I smiled. Next week I might stop by. Assuming you're both free to have dinner with someone who just plays on their laptop all day. The drive back to my real office was quiet. James reviewed the day's schedule, meetings with tech giants, calls with government agencies, the endless work of protecting an increasingly digital world. My phone buzzed with messages. Mom, why didn't you tell us? We're so proud. Michael, I'm sorry. For everything. Dad, can we talk? Please. I set the phone aside, turning instead to the latest security protocols on my laptop. My real laptop, the one that helped me build an empire while they thought I was wasting time online. Success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about being right in ways they can't yet understand. It's not about revenge or humiliation. It's about excellence achieved in silence while others are too busy judging to notice. The next family dinner was different. No more mockery about online work. No more lectures about real jobs. Instead, they asked questions, finally ready to understand that success in the modern world doesn't always wear a tie or occupy a corner office. Michael adapted to his new role, though he never quite regained his corporate swagger. My father started reading about cybersecurity, trying to understand the world I'd built while he was busy dismissing it. Me. I keep working, keep innovating, keep protecting the digital landscape that shapes our world. Sometimes from my office, sometimes from my laptop at home, because real power isn't about where you work, it's about what you build. The family name means something different now in business circles. Not because of traditional corporate success, but because the daughter they underestimated built something bigger than they could imagine. One quiet line of code at a time.